Welcome to the Adrienne Show. Welcome back, guys. This is my second episode, and today's topic that we will be talking about is a strong foundation for communication to save your marriage. Yes, save your marriage. Of course, we have to have a strong foundation, right? We have to be able to communicate with our spouse, and then that will actually save our marriage. So, many people, we have like a lack of communication and we don't really have that strong foundation trying to get to know our spouse. So then our marriage ends up failing. So I did a survey, and I'm only going to read maybe 3 questions that I had asked people and 3 answers to see what they have responded. So first, let's look at our survey. So here, when we go to the survey, the first question that I had asked, sorry, you guys, I have to go to the survey first. Okay, the first question that I asked was, what ways can you communicate with your spouse if you don't feel comfortable expressing yourself? Many people said, write a letter. Yes, I agree. Write a letter. Because sometimes in our life, we may go through something that's emotionally that is very hard for us to talk about it. But when you write it on a letter, I know I've done it a couple of times, it's more deeper. You can go more detail and like really tell them how you really feel. So yes, I agree. Write a letter. So let me think. I think number 4. The number 4 question is how much attention should you give your spouse if you are busy parents and both partners work? So if you're busy parents and you both partners work, sometimes we get so busy in our life and then with the kids and work, sometimes we forget to spend that time. So let us see. One says, the answer was, spend time with them when they're not working. Some said, give as much attention as you would want in return. So yeah, I agree. I really believe that, somewhere you have to find time with your spouse, whether it's once or twice in a week. You should always give that divine time. Every day, I think you should communicate. But having that alone time, maybe once or twice in a week, or maybe once, because, we get so busy. But as long as you keep communicating, I think it's very important that you always communicate. The last one that I picked for today, the question that I had asked, the 7th one, it says, do you think it's important to set goals in your marriage? If yes, what are some goals you would need daily? If yes or if no. Some answer, let me see. Yes. Yes, a marriage couple should set daily goals. Wake up saying I love you to each other. So that's so sweet. Hug and just let them know that you love them, right? That was one of the answers. But personally, me, setting goals, yes, you get up, and I think that's something that you should tell your spouse is beautiful, have a good morning, how was it at work when you come in. But in order to spend time with your spouse, I really believe that you should set goals like on a daily basis, especially if you're parents and you're working. If you set goals in the time and get things done, then you will find that time to spend with your spouse, and then you'll be able to grow. So then through this, if you think about marriage is like a flower, right? A flower has to have its foundation, has to have its soil. You have to prepare it, right? Then you have to plant the seed. Then you water it, and the sunlight hits it. Then slowly it begins to grow, and it becomes that bud, right? It's halfway in that half point of this life. Then it becomes a beautiful flower. The same way with us. You have good communications, you can have bad communications, right? So in the flower too, you have to pull those bad weeds. So I compare the seeds, the good seeds, as good communication, and the bad weeds for bad communications. So also you can do really harm in your marriage if you're talking to your spouse a certain way, the way you handle things, you know, if you're trying to take control over everything, or calling your spouse names, because, you know, words, you can never take back what you said. They will, even though they may forgive you, they will never forget what you said. So we have to be truly wise what we're saying with our spouse. We should speak loving and gracious words, and we should always be honest. We should always have that trust, you know. And two, many people say, well, I know my spouse. You know, when the flower goes through the storm, winter comes, what? It dies. Then it grows again. As you know, in relationships, we have new chapters in our life. We may like new things and want to experience new things. Like, we begin to change as people. So it's always good to communicate with your spouse and see what's different about them. And that's how you begin to have that foundation, and to always communicate, because you don't know what they may be going through. So that's just personally my opinion, because I've been married for 3.5 years. I've known my spouse for 4 years. And, you know, through this, I'm learning. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm learning. I'm actually healing and reflecting exactly who I am and what things I need to change and what I need to do in my relationship. So that's why I'm really having this, you know, this TV show, this episode, because I really need to learn how to communicate with my spouse better and able to trust and have that honesty. So that just as I'm impacting your life, I hope that you're impacting, you know, my life also. So if you have any questions later on, I will give you my email address and at the end of the show. So I hope that this helps. You know, thank you for just watching the Adrienne show. Next, we will have Faith Barbary and Alex Moore as the guests to do the survey, video. So then, let's go to the survey video. Welcome, Alex, to the Adrienne show. So, we have a couple of questions for you today. So, as you know, the topic is what? A strong foundation for communications. So, I have 7 questions for you. The first question will be, what ways can you communicate with your spouse if you don't feel comfortable expressing yourself?
First of all, you need to put down all your devices, cellular devices, get off of social media, sit down, have a conversation, ask your spouse, hey, how's your day? How's work? That's how you get a conversation started. That's how you start to communicate.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because a lot of people, they're on their gadgets all day long, or the computer all day long. Some people are really addictive. You know, as you know, in this time, you know, devices actually are destroying families.
It seems like spouses and, well, not even spouses, but boyfriend, girlfriends, or whomever, they're so attached to their devices. They're like this the whole entire time, and they seem like they communicate more with Facebook and all this other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Even at the dinner table, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they were like this. You gonna eat? Mm-hmm. And the stupidest thing I ever seen in my life is somebody texting you in the same room, texting each other. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, why'd you just say that? Oh, I'd rather just text you.
So, next question for today, the second question, it will be, do you think not talking to your spouse much is toxic for your relationship?
Oh, yes, it's real toxic, because if you don't communicate, there's nothing there. Yeah. It can be real toxic if you don't communicate with your spouse, period. I don't know. Yeah, you have to communicate 100%.
I agree also. So the third question is, how can you save your marriage if your romance is gone?
Well, one, I would send my spouse flowers for work, or she's at. Yeah, you take her out to a nice restaurant, have some dinner, maybe movies, whatever she likes. And the rest is business.
Oh, all right. So the fourth question is, how much attention should you give your spouse if you are busy parents and both partners work?
Well, you should give your spouse as much attention as possible, regardless if you work. If you do work, when you do get off of work, hey, you need to come and chill, sit on the couch or whatever, spend time with your spouse. What I like to do, in order to spend time with my spouse or whatever, me, my wife, and the kids, we sit down and we watch Netflix all the time. So that right there is one way to communicate with your spouse. Not only just your spouse, but that gives you family time with your kids.
Yeah, I agree. So, your next question will be the fifth question. It says, do you think it's right for one partner to take all the responsibilities such as bills, kids, cleaning? What do you think about that?
It needs to be 50-50.
Yeah,
like I said,
I agree.
You get married and you're as one now, so both of you all have to take the majority of the load. Like I said, the man works. That's old school pretty much. The man works, take care of everything outside. The wife can sit home and take care of the kids, wash the dishes, do the housework, inside, whatever. Be a mother like she's supposed to be. But these days, it's not like that. So both parents have to work, and that also affects people's marriages because they don't ever see each other. Why? Because they're both working now. And plus, like I said, the economy's so bad around here, it takes two people to work anymore. Sometimes both of them have either 2 to 3 jobs. So.
I agree. So the next question will be the sixth question. It says, do you think there should be personal boundaries in a marriage? If yes or no, why?
Good question. Personal boundaries.
So
I don't think you should have any boundaries at all.
Okay, so what if to me personally, it's up to you. If you're having a busy day, you spend time with your spouse and everything's going on, it's chaotic, I believe like anybody, any personal kids, marriage, that just going in a room somewhere, sitting down, and you need that 50, 30, 40 minutes, even maybe an hour break, like for yourself, to get yourself mentally, prepared to move on so you can be able to help your spouse or your family. What do you think?
Of course, that's understandable.
To me, that's boundaries.
Yeah. Of course, that's what you call personal time or personal space, but yeah, you want some time alone, whatever, to yourself, just to come in and rest the day off or wash your day off, or whatever. Take a shower, lay in the bed for a tad bit. I like to go upstairs and lay in front of my fan and not be bothered. I lock the door shut, whatever.
Yeah.
Kids come in the room. Can I come in? No. Bye, see you. I'll be downstairs in a minute.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I'm talking about, boundaries.
Yeah.
So the last question for today is, do you think it's important do you think it's important to set goals in your marriage? If yes, what are some goals you would do daily? And if no, why?
I would set some goals, for the marriage. You ever watch the movie Fireproof? I got that book at home.
That's really good.
It's a good book, it is.
Yeah, I haven't read the book, but just the movie.
Well, I got the book and it works. If you do some of those things, you'll be surprised how your marriage turns out.
Wow.
Like I said, I've been married 16 years. It's been a roller coaster. And it was a doozy, but hey, we made it 16 years.
Wow, 16 years. That's a blessing. All right. So, well, that's all the questions I have for you today. So thank you, and be a guest on our show next time.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. So then next it will be Faith Barber. She will be our next guest. Hello, Faith. Welcome to the Adrienne Show.
Hello, Adrienne. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Well, as you know, we have a couple of survey questions, and the topic will be about a strong foundation for communication to save your marriage. So I have 7 questions for you today. So the first question, it will be, what ways can you communicate with your spouse if you don't feel comfortable expressing yourself?
Well, the way that I think I would handle that is I would just sit down and write him a letter.
Yeah, I agree. A letter, sometimes that we...
Yeah, sometimes we can communicate or express ourselves better on paper than we can just talking to our spouse verbally. Yeah. It makes it easier to say what it is, that's on our mind.
So then the second question will be, do you think not talking to your spouse much is toxic for your relationship?
It's not a good thing, because if you're not talking to each other and it's going to cause a lack of communication in the relationship, and that's going to damage your marriage eventually. Yeah. Because you're not communicating with each other.
So I think it's very important.
Yeah, so that's going to cause problems.
Yeah. So the third question is, how can you save your marriage if the romance is gone?
Like my mother used to always tell me, the family that prays together stays together. And I'm a firm believer in prayer.
So the fourth question is, how much attention should you give your spouse if you're a busy parent and both partners are working?
Well, I think that you and your spouse should have some alone time at least 3 days out of the week, because you have to make time for each other. No matter how busy you are with the kids or your job, you and your spouse have to make some time for each other, because that could also damage your relationship, because you're not spending any time together and you're not communicating. Yeah. So I think that it's good to at least have some alone time at least 3 days a week. Go out to dinner or go to a movie, or just if you're just in your bedroom watching a movie.
Yeah, I agree. So the fifth question for today is, do you think it's right for one partner to take all responsibilities such as kids, cleaning, and bills? Me personally, I don't think it's right. But what do you think?
No, I don't think that's right at all. That is so wrong. Yeah. Because sooner or later, the one party is the one person that's carrying the full load. You're going to be stressed out. You're going to be moody. And then your spouse is going to wonder, well, why are you in such a bad mood? Or, it can take away from your sex drive, because you're stressed out all the time. Because that's all you're going to think about, because you're constantly worried about the bills, or how you're going to pay this, or how you're going to pay that, or how you're going to buy food. So that's just going to put a lot of stress on your marriage.
Yeah, so it's better just to divide it.
Yeah, you have to be, a marriage is like 50-50. You have to help each other.
Yeah, I agree. So the sixth question is, do you think there should be personal boundaries in a marriage? If yes or no, why?
No, I don't think there should be, because when you go to the altar before God and you say, I do, you become as one. And I think that would cause problems in the relationship. Say, for instance, you or your spouse would go out somewhere just to have some alone time. Then that's going to create suspicion, like, well, why do you need alone time? Are you seeing someone else, or are you cheating on me? And that's going to create that's going to bring up a lot of red flags in the relationship.
So then, on the same question, so what do you think if you know, I really like every kid or everyone should have their alone time. So what if you just have your alone time like in your room or have a in the house where your spouse and your children are? So I'm just gonna go in the room, give myself like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's fine because, you know, me and my spouse, like, we might go in separate rooms and just to watch a movie. I mean, like, I have certain movies that I like, and he has certain movies that he likes.
Yeah.
So that's fine if you're just in separate rooms, like you're just having a Bible study or watching a movie.
Yeah.
That's, you know, everybody needs some space.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Okay, I agree. Okay, so the last question for today is, do you think it's important to set goals in your marriage? If yes, what are some goals you would need daily? If no, why?
Well, yes, I think that you should have some goals and boundaries. I mean, such as maybe going to church together or having a Bible study together or just doing some activities together as a family.
Yeah, I would also agree too.
Yeah, that creates unity within the marriage and in the relationship and the family.
Oh, okay. I think so. I think goals also, it will help that communication and set goals, and also give, to me, it also gives that time to, like, say if you do have a lot of kids or you have to work, and if you set goals and have it done in a timely manner, like I was saying in my earlier in my episode, that it will give you that time to be able to spend time with your spouse in order for them to communicate. So I totally agree with you, Faith. So that's all the questions that I have for you today. But it was I'm very pleased that you came to the Adrienne Show. It was a guest, so maybe next time you can come and be my guest at another episode.
I would like that, and thank you very much for having me on your show, and I hope that my answers were able to help someone's marriage.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Adrienne.
Hello, welcome back, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video survey by Alex Moore and Faith Barbary. They did such a wonderful job. Hope they come back as my guest. So I'm going to give you guys a reference, her name, and I hope that I'm saying it right. If not, please forgive me. Iyanla Van Zandt. Her topic is the R spot. I really enjoy her videos. Like, she really gives like a good advice. Like, you can just keep strolling because there's a lot of questions that you may need answers to about your relationship. So it's called the R spot. Alex, can you please show the picture so they'll know who I'm talking about? Okay, so you guys go there. Look at her YouTube videos. It's really good. Subscribe to them because I'm telling you, it's awesome. So if you guys have any questions about my show, I just gave you like my thoughts. You know, of course, I'm not a genius. I'm just giving you my thoughts and letting you know about, you know, my experience and what everyone else thinks, you know, according to their surveys. So thank you for watching the Adrienne Show. If you have any questions, I do have an email now. You can go to the Adrienne Show at yahoo.com. So you can please leave questions, and also the same survey that I asked for, the video survey, I will have that survey below my link. So please, my email will be down there and the survey. So if you have time, please fill out the survey and look at the reference. So please, thank you for watching the Adrienne Show. So be you, be true, and I will see you next time. Bye.